My name is Erica Doyle and I'm the founder of Drink Dry. What makes me today is different from what made me 5 years ago or what will make me in 5 years' time. Something that I have learned over the last decade is that we women have this innate superpower that we can reinvent ourselves time and time and time again. Daily experiences that we have, the encounters that we have with other people shape us and mold us, and we are open to that change. So as a 27-year-old Erica, my single focus was to start a family. I was married and the single focus that I had was to become a mom, to start my own family, to leave a legacy. 5 years later from that, a 32-year-old Erica had a completely different purpose in life. At 32, I had 3 children already and my focus shifted. I have reinvented myself. So from a stay-at-home mom with 3 young children, I refocused myself, and at 32 my single focus was my business, my career. It was investing back into Erica and growing myself. I think that is the biggest lesson for me, that we are women, we are super women. We can time and time again reinvent ourselves, and that should be encouraged and celebrated. So what makes me today, it's all the positive, negative challenges and experiences that I had is what makes me today. This is the question I ask myself very often, and I think it's a question we should ask ourselves often enough to remind ourselves what gets us out of bed every morning, what gets us to smile, what ticks us, what makes us move. So for me, I have different whys, and I think at different times my whys take priority. When I was starting out my business, my single biggest why was a couple of people that I knew and respected and still respect to this day, telling me that I had 2 of the worst ideas. One, e-commerce, the other one is non-alcoholic drinks. So having somebody that you have a lot of respect and you look up to tell you that you cannot do something, for me, it ignited power inside of me because I strongly believed that I could. So when the going got really tough and it genuinely felt like I cannot do this anymore, I don't want to get up today, I don't want to continue doing what I was doing yesterday, I reminded myself that, you know what, I think I'm right, and I think what I'm doing matters and it has a purpose. That was the beginning of my journey. I think recently, my biggest why has been my children. I'm a mother to 3 young girls, and I'm learning how impressionable our younger generation is, the power of social media, the power of opinions that are put upon them by other people, the power of subtle nuances that children hear and see. It's so impactful on their little minds and it's so powerful on them. And I feel like my personal responsibility towards my 3 young daughters is to let them have a role model. Somebody who puts family first, for sure, but somebody who puts themselves first, because they will grow up. Today they are 3 little girls, they are my children, they have no responsibilities in the world, they have no cares. But one day, they will be women, they will be wives, they will be mothers. And I want to instill in them that it is okay to put yourself first, that they have to put themselves first. They have to be happy, they have to be content, they have to have an objective that they are fulfilling for themselves. So I want to lead by example. So when they grow up, I never want to hear them say they feel guilty about taking a spa day for themselves, that they feel guilty about taking 2 hours on a Sunday morning to go for a run and have a coffee with a girlfriend afterwards. I don't want them to feel the things that possibly my generation feel and my mom's generation feel, and for sure my grandmother's generation felt. For me, it is my biggest why that I have direct access to my children to impact how they feel about themselves and how their characters will be formed when they are older. 100,000,000% agree that we are already strong and we are already empowered. I would say the biggest challenge when it comes to empowerment is we women sometimes stop ourselves. we don't feel empowered, I do believe that the world around us can empower us, and it does empower us. There's two sides to it. We need to be willing, and we need to sometimes stop that inner voice in our heads that tell us we're not good enough, the world doesn't want us to be empowered. The world does want us to be empowered, and the world wants us to get out there and do our bit for the society, for the community, for the family, for the world. So I think sometimes we can be our worst enemy, and we need to definitely work with that. I would say the other part of that is it's using our energy wisely. Instead of trying to change the world, focus on something small. So you can think big, but act small. I'm a great believer in finding allies, finding male allies, somebody who will provide you a platform to get your message out. If you operate in an industry professionally that tends to be more open to male getting their opinion, putting something forward, instead of trying to change the whole industry, instead of trying to change the whole society and how the business world operates, instead focus your energy on finding male allies whose values are the same as you, who are women champions and who understand your fight, and use them as your platform to get the message out, and use them as a springboard to get your voice and your message out into the sector that otherwise is difficult for you to get your message across. So use your energy wisely, because one single person cannot change the world. It can change parts of it, and use your energy wisely, because otherwise you need to experience wins. You know, everybody's motivated by success. So if you start doing something and time and time again you are beaten down, it becomes really difficult to get back up. And I think it takes an enormous, tremendous amount of character to keep getting back up time and time again when you've been knocked down. But if you focus your energy on smaller things that will in time have big impact, you will find better drive and energy for yourself, because you will see wins and you will see successes, and it will motivate you, it will propel you, you will start seeing the small difference that you are making, and it will encourage you to continue. So, you know, think big, act small sometimes. Every single day when I wake up and I open my eyes, I check in with myself first. How is Erica feeling today? Is Erica feeling happy today? Is Erica feeling motivated today? Is Erica physically healthy today? I don't check in with my husband first. I don't start asking how he's feeling. I don't even check in how my children are feeling. I check in with how is Erica feeling, because I am my priority. In my family, I use the word and the phrase selfishly proud, because I have to, whether I want to or not, I have to put myself first. I have to make sure that my physical health is top priority, that my mental health is top priority, that my diet is full of good, nutritious food, that I'm not running on scraps, that I'm not missing breakfast, that I'm not eating children's leftover, that I'm not skipping dinner instead of bedtime. I have to fuel my body, my physical and mental well-being, to be able to give anything back to my family, anything back to my friends, back to my community, back to my wider network, women's network, back to my colleagues. I have to be a glass full, not half full, not half empty. I have to be full. And if I don't feel like my top self on that day, I simply cannot give back, because there's from nowhere to take. So for me, my health is my absolute top priority, and health incorporates a lot of different things. It's great diet, it's physical exercise. I have a routine whereby I never skip breakfast, I never skip lunch, and I never skip dinner. It might be improvised version, but I have to make sure that I fuel my body with good, nutritious food, just the same as I do with my children, you know. We mothers spend so much time looking on social media, following foodie influencers, taking screenshots of what children's nutritious lunch should look like, what their bento boxes should look like, what their lunch boxes should look like. But how much time do we spend planning our own meals to make sure that we are nurtured? A second really important part for me is my physical exercise, because there is a direct, not an indirect, a direct correlation on how I will feel that day physically and mentally. So as a minimum 2 or 3 times a week, I check in with my personal trainer. We spend an hour together, and on some days where I'm feeling full of energy, where I've had great sleep, where I've had great week, I might do a really intense training session, because that's what my body is ready to do and my body is willing to do. On some days I'm feeling tired, I didn't have enough sleep, and we simply do some rehab exercises. If I have a painful back, we simply work very slow exercise on that, and I make sure that I run. I am a runner. For me, running is my medicine. It is something that cures my busy head. I'm a worrier, I'm an overthinker, and if I don't do something with my body that helps my brain slow down, take a deep breath, I'm in trouble. So for me, physical exercise has a huge direct impact into how I feel day in, day out. I would say whenever I look at what can be done for the future, it's always important to look at things 2 ways. Short term, what can I do now to have a substantial impact on tomorrow? And what can I do for the next decade, maybe 2 decades, to have a really powerful impact? So I would say my long-term vision here would be, we as women, particularly women who are mothers, have incredible power in influencing our children, who is the generation that will come after us. So whether you are mothers of boys or girls, it is our time now to change the perception, change the messaging of the men and women of tomorrow. So if you are a mother of boys, teach them that there is no difference between men and women in the world of business. No difference in their capabilities, in their capacities, in the way they can do things, that they are equal. If you are mothers of little girls, teach exactly the same. Let's not make the mistake that women before us made, where they were teaching girls to be obedient and convenient and smile and not necessarily do what we felt innately we were born to do. So we have a huge power to influence the future generation of men and women over a long period of time. As a business leader today, I also want to make impact that people around me, and particularly women around me, can benefit from. I am in a really fortunate position to be an employer, and I get to employ people. My absolute go-to profile of a candidate is a working mom, because they are superhumans. They are absolute superhumans. They can multitask, they can think 5 different things at the same time. They just have this innate power in them. So if you are in a position to offer employment to other people, I know from experience that working moms, particularly working moms with small children, do get marginalized in the workplace because employers see them as inconvenient. Employers see them as inconvenient because they have to take them off when children are sick. They have to take them off during school holiday. So be that different person, be that different employer where you choose to employ these superwomen because you trust them and you trust the multitasking environment. I am really proud and fortunate to say that I have 4 other working moms in my company next to me, and between us we have a combined number of 9 children, anything ranging from a small baby 6-month-old to a 7-year-old little boy. And it's incredibly important that you provide the environment where these women can flourish. Offer flexi work, Offer them the option of do their school pickup or school drop-off. Offer them the option of working from home in the afternoons. Offer them the option of working at the weekend or the evening time. As long as they get the work done, you are benefiting from them. You know, I think the other big elephant in the room when it comes to the world of business that we don't always discuss is different maternity leave requirements for different women. Of course, we have to have standard maternity leave where you know that you are entitled to a certain number of days, you know that you are entitled to certain things, that you have comfort and security in that. But if you are an employer and you do have a woman who's working for you and she has fantastic adventure in front of her where she's becoming a mother and she's expecting and she's going to become a mother, be flexible, because maternity leave for each woman looks different. I've had 3 children and my maternity leave with all of my 3 children look different. With my first one, I needed 6 months off. I needed to spend time with my child. I needed that time. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and I needed time to recover physically, emotionally, and mentally. Fast forward my experience with my 3rd child, when I was already a business owner, I went back to work 2 days later. It's not something I say to be proud of or other women to look up to. I say that to differentiate because I was ready. I was happy to go back to the office 2 days after I gave birth because I had an easy birth and I was ready. My brain was there. It was my time to shine and I was prepared to do that. So when you are embracing your women employees going through the journey of becoming mothers, work with them and offer them flexible maternity leave. And I tell you from experience that the more flexibility you give to people, the more reward you will get back. So when it comes to my own personal fitness, for me, the success is in the planning. I have to make sure that I plan out my week, that I arrange the time, the date, the place, that I will be investing in myself, that I will be giving myself the time and the space to exercise. So I make sure that every weekend I plan out my week. I know exactly the date that I will be running. I know exactly the date that I'll be meeting my girlfriends for a HIIT class. I know exactly the day that I'll be going to a crank spinning class or I'll be going to a yoga. Because if I don't plan, I know that other things will take priority. So don't be afraid to put yourself first and say, this coming week, I'm giving myself 4 to 5 hours of me time and exercise time and physical activity time. Put it in the diary, share it with your teammates, with your colleagues, with your husband, with everybody, with your children, that they know that this is your time, this is sacred time. They cannot put a meeting in with you that time. Your husband cannot ask you to go shopping with him. Nobody can interrupt on that time. So make sure that you plan for success. My beautiful, strong, courageous women, I invite you to take this as a sign and sign up for Dubai Women's Run. Start putting yourself first and start training. And whether you want to walk or run or jog alone with your friends, this is your time. You know, we can do a 3K run together, we can do a 5K run or a 10K run together. So I invite you to take part in Dubai Women's Run at Dubai Festival City, and I'll see you at the start line.